Hi there. So today we're going to do some arm drills for strengthening and getting ourselves ready for our arm balance and inversion practice. So find your way onto the mat and two options. We're going to start first of all on our hands and knees and warm up the wrists. So let's take a little bit of warming up, moving back and forth through the wrists and then flipping the palms so that the fingertips are facing the knees. Draw back so that you stretch through the front of the wrist, the back of the forearm. Good. And then flip the palms again. This time you might want to bring the hands a little closer towards the knees and stretch through, keeping the arms as straight as possible. We're going to stretch through the front of the forearms. And then we're going to apply a little bit of weight. So give your wrists a few turns. I'm going to apply a little bit of weight through because when we're coming on to inversions and arm balances, we're actually putting weight through the hands and through the wrists. And we need to get the wrists accustomed to weight bearing. So we start off on our hands and knees and then moving the knees back just a little bit further and just a little bit further, maybe tucking the toes under and coming into a plank. And we're going to hold our plank for maybe 5 to 10 breaths. If it becomes too much, bring the knees back to the floor. So hold it here to 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. In time, you can build up to a little bit more. Come back, give the hands a little shake, and then we're going to flip the palms over and do the same thing in reverse. And so here, I really invite you to take your time because, of course, we're not accustomed to placing weight through the top of our hands to the top of our wrists. So we're going to take it really gently. We start off keeping the shoulders directly over the wrists and taking the knees back a little bit at a time. And from here, if you can face it, you come up. I promise. It takes a while to get used to this. So you can just keep going your knees a little bit further back from directly underneath your hips as you get used to it. Eventually, maybe one breath turns into 2, turns into 3, turns into 5 or 10. And then gently come down, ease back. If you have delicate wrists, maybe don't go straight in for the full plank on this one just yet. Spin your hands, turning them back, and then simply trying to lift up the fingers, up and down, and up and down, and up, and down, and up, and down. Last time. Good. Give the hands a little shake. Good. Maybe clasp the hands and start to take a few turns, first in one direction and then in the other. Good. And then we're going to come down, turn the palms facing upwards, bring your elbows down to the floor. Bring your hands into fists with the knuckles on the tops of all 4 fingers. And then the thumbs on top of the fingers. And then bring your fists together. Bring your chest directly over the fists and then lifting up. Notice how your thumbs want to release. Try to see if you can keep the thumbs connected. So we lift up and down, but keep the chest forwards. Up and down and up and holding. See if those thumbs can come down a little bit more. Give it a good squeeze and release. For the next drill, we're going to go onto our hands and knees, and actually we can level this up in a multiple of different ways. So the main thing is to keep your shoulders on top of your wrists at all times. And we're going to bring one hand to each shoulder 5 times on either side. What we want to avoid is shifting weight from side to side as we do. So you want to avoid leaning over to one side. So firm up the core, stay stable, shoulders forwards over the wrists. Now if you want to level this up, you take the knees back a little bit, that's step 1, but the shoulders stay on top of the wrists. Or you tuck your toes under coming into plank. Again, keep the shoulders on top of the wrists and try to not rock from side to side. If you want to level up even further, you grab something to place your feet on and you come into a raised plank. Coming up again, shoulders directly over your wrists and whoop, from side to side. 5 times. Once we've done that, we're going to come on to our second round. We're going to come into a plank or knees to the ground, and we're going to bring forearm down, hand down, hand down. Forearm, forearm, hand, hand. Forearm, forearm, hand, hand. Forearm, forearm, hand, hand. Obviously, you can do this with your knees down to build strength, and maybe switching which hand comes down first, which forearm comes down first. Play with it 5 times on each side. Next, we're going to come into our plank holds, and holding here for 10 breaths. You could level this up by raising one leg or by again bringing your feet onto a block. You can also level it up by raising one leg and extending one arm. This is also going to work the core. Make sure you switch sides. So choose which side you want to do and then do the opposite side. So take 10 breaths. Again, we can do this on our knees, bringing one hand in front of the other, working on arm strength and core. Last of all, dolphin. So our dolphin pose, we're going to amp it up. Dolphin pose is great for working on the flexibility through your hamstrings, and you can work on this by rocking up and down through the heels. Have your hands about shoulder distance apart. Now, we're going to go into turbo dolphin. Hover the elbows off the ground, not too high up, but just off the ground, so the elbows are still bent, and squeeze the elbows inwards, so don't let them splay out. Hold it here. Relax the head, relax the neck. 5 breaths. And then when you've completed, knees to the floor, take a little moment in child's pose. And come again. We're going to do that 3 times, our turbo dolphin. So coming back, holding for 5, 4, 3. You can bend your knees if you need to, 2, and 1, and then come down. And then final time. Squeeze the elbows towards one another. Notice the sensation around the tops of the shoulders. We're creating space between your shoulder blades and also creating a really strong shoulder girdle across the front. And come down. Give yourself a little moment, a little rest. Good. If you want to up the ante, you can try going for your dolphin to chaturanga. So dolphin to low plank. So palms spread wide, really engage. Now the idea is to not come up and then down, but to transfer straight from your dolphin to chaturanga. So we're going to come from here. Shoulders are going to come forward, elbows are going to come off, and we're going to keep it at a right angle. So we're going to come forwards and back, and forwards and back, and forwards and back. You get the idea. But we're keeping this shape at all times. It's just a question, just in inverted commas, a question of shifting forwards and back. We're shifting forwards and back. So I hope those were helpful. These are great exercises and drills to really work on your strength for your arm balances, for your inversions, and we're going to build up loads of strength doing these. So good luck. Let me know how you get on.